Hello everyone, my name is Dylan and welcome to a brand new video. If you are new here, hi there. I post fun and entertaining English lessons every single Friday. So today I'm going to be hitting you with some real, everyday British English. Yes, I'm just going to be stood here for the next 15 to 20 minutes and I'm going to be speaking to you about random things. All you need to do is sit back, listen, and try your hardest to enjoy. So this video will not only be really good for helping you to improve your English listening abilities, but I'm also going to be teaching you some of the expressions that I used whilst I was rambling on. So, when you see something pop up on the screen, that just means that I'm going to be explaining what it means at the end of the video in a PDF. You can also download that PDF for free. The link is in the top comment. You don't need to sign up to anything or enter your email. Just hit the link and press download. Right guys, enjoy the video. Very quickly before we get started, I also teach private one-to-one lessons online. They are a lot of fun and I'm now taking on 2 new students. So if you are interested, hit the link in the top comment for more information. Okay, so I do have a few talking points written down here in my trusty notepad. However, I'm going to be trying my hardest to keep this video as natural as possible. So let's start by addressing the elephant in the room. What is this lovely background that I'm currently stood in front of? If you are new here, this isn't actually my usual filming setup. I'm not normally stood up, I'm not normally so close to the camera, and I'm not normally filming in front of a jungle-themed backdrop. Or maybe, could it be that I am actually filming in a jungle right now? No, obviously not. How am I going to plug all this stuff in? Don't be silly. However, with the extreme levels of heat and humidity that I am currently experiencing, honestly, I may as well be filming in a jungle right now. I'm currently on holiday. So let's start by talking about traveling. First question. Why are airports so exciting? I know that some of you may disagree with that idea, but for me personally, I absolutely love airports. I think they are so fun. I guess I like the diversity of the people that you meet there or that you just see walking by. You know, people from all different walks of life, all different countries, and they're going to various different destinations. I don't know, I just think it's kind of interesting, you know? They're normally quite clean and well looked after. I guess that does depend on the airport. And there is one thing that I do truly love about airports as well, and that is the perfume shops. So I've got a secret for you. It's not a very juicy secret, don't worry, but I really love perfumes and like colognes and fragrances and stuff like that. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I smell really nice. Anyway, back to airports. So we have this joke in the UK that no matter what time of day it is, so it could be 6 a.m, it could be 9 a.m, could be 11 a.m, could be midnight, it doesn't really matter, you will always see a British person drinking a pint. And honestly, this is 100% factual. The next time you are in an airport, look out for this. We do have another joke about British people as well, which is that if you want to ruin any European city, just put in a direct flight from the UK to it. If you don't understand that second joke, then you are very lucky, because that probably means you have never experienced British people getting obnoxiously drunk on the way to your country or even just in your country. But if you live somewhere that is cheap, sunny, and likes to party, you probably already know about this. And if you live in Amsterdam, then you definitely already know about this. Now, whilst we are on the topic of Britain and transport, there is something that we really need to talk about, because I know that some of you may be planning on visiting the UK in the future, So this is quite important information. So what could it be? Well, we need to talk about the public transport in Britain. Hot. I just want to start this section by saying that I am grateful for living in the UK, but I am about to rip into it a little bit as well. So, let's look at the public transportation options. We have buses, we have trains, we have trams in some areas, mainly Manchester and Edinburgh, and that's how you say it, by the way, Edinburgh, so not Edinburgh, it's more like Edinburgh. And we have the tube in London as well. Let's start on a positive note. Personally, I think that the tube is a really good method of transportation. It's very quick, it's efficient, it's normally on time, and they come quite often as well. So if you miss one, you normally should only have to wait like a few minutes to get on the next one. It's quite affordable, but I can see why some people would disagree with me on this because it can be quite unpleasant, especially during summer where it gets extremely hot and extremely cramped as well. In peak hours, so like 8 or 9 a.m. and 5, 6 p.m., you really are packed like sardines in a tin. You actually cannot move. You're stood like this, and in fairness, it is extremely unpleasant. Buses are pretty good. There isn't really much to complain about. Like they come quite often. They're normally delayed and late and stuff like that, but you have to come to expect that with public transport in the UK, I think. And then we have trains. Let's talk about trains. So to cut a long story short, trains in the UK are bad. I don't like them, personally. They are the bane of my life, kind of. So why do I despise them so much? Well, there are quite a few reasons. Firstly, they are so overpriced for no reason. They are so needlessly expensive and they keep upping the price as well. So about 4 months ago, they upped the prices of all the trains in the UK. A few months before that, they did the same thing. A few months before that, they did the same thing. But don't worry guys, because they have promised to price lock it until 2025. If something is price locked, by the way, it just means that the price is locked in. They can't change it. So what that means is they have very generously given us about 7 months of only having to pay outrageous ticket prices before they inevitably raise it again, and we all need to start paying unbelievably outrageous ticket prices. Like I said, very generous indeed. So, do you at least get good value for your money? No, not at all. I wouldn't be stood here complaining if you did. These trains are always either delayed or late or cancelled, and I'm not exaggerating, it happens so often, it's absolutely infuriating. The amount of times I've been stood on a platform and I've gotten there 10 minutes early because I don't want to miss the train, and then I hear that tannoy go off, that dung 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 dung. This is an announcement for platform 4. The 10:55 to London Paddington is delayed by approximately 8 hours. Ha 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 ha. Have a good journey. It honestly does my head in. So what else is there? Sometimes the trains can be quite dirty. They're not like filthy. It's not like a huge deal. It's just that someone might decide to leave their chicken salad sandwich wrapper from their meal deal wedged underneath the seat next to you. So, it doesn't really affect you that much, but it is worth noting. Another thing that is worth noting is that apparently I am not the only one with a distaste for the UK train companies, as their own employees can't stand them either. And that is why every month or so we are treated to these beautiful things called rail strikes. So rail strikes or train strikes are basically when the employees have decided that they have had enough and they decide not to turn up to work until they get paid more money, which honestly, fair enough. Anyway, so what do these beautiful things mean for the consumer, such as myself? Well, it means that they are basically going to cancel about 90% of the trains that were supposed to run on that particular day. So say it's a Saturday, for instance, and you're going to Manchester, which is something that I used to do quite a lot. They used to have this Korean language exchange there that I went to, and yeah, it was fun. And 지금 제 한국어는 완벽해요. 그래서, 괜찮아요. Anyway, what does this mean when you cancel 90% of the trains on a Saturday to Manchester? Well, it means that the 1 or 2 trains that do run are extremely packed. This is especially unpleasant when you consider that there are 2 massive football teams in Manchester. And this means that as these teams normally play on the weekends, there will likely be a football match, maybe even 2, going on in Manchester. So, not only will you be on a train full of people, and you literally cannot move because it is so full, half of those people will be pissed out of their minds at 11 a.m, screaming some random football chants, much to the dismay of everyone else around them. I don't want to scare you though, I know that a lot of international people do move to Manchester. It's a nice place, you'll be absolutely fine, just maybe bring some headphones and some paracetamol as well. For the final section of today's ramble, I wanted to talk about something very important. Food. More specifically, food in the UK. So, I mentioned something in the last section when I was banging on about how much I hate trains, and the thing that I mentioned is actually a staple in the British diet. I'm talking about meal deals. So, you might be wondering what a meal deal is. Well, it's something that I have personally indulged in many, many times. When I went to school, it was all I would see other people indulge in. In other words, it is extremely popular. A meal deal is something that you get from pretty much any supermarket in the UK. It consists of a main, a side, and a drink. So a main can either be a sandwich or some pasta, maybe even a salad or some sushi if you feel like getting ripped off. The side consists of some crisps, some chocolate, maybe some sweets, or a bag of fruit if you feel like getting ripped off. And the drinks, in fairness, they do have quite a good selection of these. You can get pretty much any non-alcoholic drink you can think of. And yeah, you just take your pick. So you choose one from each segment, you bring it to the cashier, and it will cost you about £3 to £4. And that is pretty much how a lot of people survive in the UK. I'll put some photos on the screen of a meal deal, and yeah, if you've been here, then you'll probably know what I'm talking about. You'll see the wrappers for these everywhere, unfortunately, especially on trains. So we've covered meal deals. What other British cuisines are there? Fish and chips, obviously, which in fairness are actually very good. We have the full English breakfast, which is pretty good. So we also have beans on toast and just toast in general, which I very much vouch for. Toast is amazing. And we've got these things called jacket potatoes, which is kind of like the fancier version of beans on toast. Other than that, British people normally just eat foods from other countries. So pizza and pasta, for example, are so commonly eaten all around the UK. Like curries, of course, noodles, burgers from America, sushi, that type of thing. I think it's fair to say that there are a lot of people who live in the UK who never really eat like British food. Apart from toast, of course. I think everyone enjoys toast. Bonus segment, because I did just bring up toast and this is very relevant. Have you tried something called Marmite? So we have this in the UK. It's quite unusual. It's like a thick black spread that you put on toast or bread, and it's got a very strong, yeasty, salty kind of taste. I know they do have their own version of it in Australia called Vegemite, and I'm just curious to see whether you have tried Marmite before or even Vegemite. And they have this marketing slogan. They say that you either love Marmite or you absolutely hate it. And guess what, guys? I'm kind of in the middle, right? I don't love Marmite, but I definitely don't hate it. I must admit, I do quite like it, but in very small doses. And I wanted to use this as an excuse to teach you 2 relevant expressions. So the first one is too much of a good thing. So you can have too much of a good thing. The second one is less is more. So sometimes less of something is more. And honestly, my relationship with Marmite can be perfectly epitomized with these two expressions. Right guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Yes, I'm back in the black t-shirt. If you're wondering why I swapped and then swapped back, this video took about 4 days to make. I don't know why, it was just so hard. Maybe because I'm stood up, maybe because it's quite hot here. I've got a whole load of excuses, but it doesn't really matter now. It's done, and I hope you enjoyed it. All of the expressions that were highlighted at the top of the screen will now be explained in a PDF. You can download this for free by hitting the link in the top comment. You don't need to sign up to anything, don't worry. However, if you are interested in taking some private one-to-one lessons with me, hit the link in the top comment. They are a lot of fun, and as mentioned, I'm taking on 2 new students. Finally, if you did enjoy today's video, why not consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and maybe even commenting down below. Honestly, all of those things make such a big difference. Right, thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you next Friday for another video. Cheers.